Class of Mundos. Hey, it's B. Today we're talking about geometry. Geometry is the study of lines and shapes and angles and stuff like that. And in order to do geometry, you need to know some definitions. And all we're doing right now is going over a few definitions before we start talking about actual angles and actual polygons and such like that. Okay? So just get out a piece of paper. We'll go back over a little bit what we did yesterday, and we'll just add some more to it today. There's just some definitions you need to know in order to do these things, okay? The first thing we talked about was a line, right? And what made a line? We talked about a line having arrows on each side. Those arrows say that that line goes on forever and ever. All right? And it will usually have some letters that go with it. There will not be any points. You will not have any dots on a line. No dots. Okay? No points on the line. Just a couple of letters and a line with arrows on each side. And you would notate that with that symbol, the line AB. Okay, we talked about that yesterday, so you should already have that. We also talked about a line segment. Now what a line segment is a piece of a line. In other words, they're taking a line and they're saying, well, we don't want the whole line that goes on forever and ever. We just want a piece of that line. We're just talking about a piece of it. So what they do is they put what are called points. And those are dots. And they will label those dots with letters. Okay, so this dot here is the R, and this dot here is S, or the scientific mathematical way to say is these points. This point here is R, and this point is S. We notate that like this. You put the line segment on top, you put the two dots, the 2 points, and you label them. That is the line segment, RS. And that's how you would refer to that line segment. Please write this stuff down. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. This is going to be important. And we went over this yesterday, so you should already have this stuff. A ray. What a ray is, it starts somewhere, and it goes the other direction, all the way forever and ever and ever and ever and ever into infinity. Into infinity, all the way to forever. Right? But it starts at a certain point. This line this way does not go forever and ever. It stops right here at this point called R. We've labeled that point R. And this going on forever and ever and ever part, we've labeled S. And the way that you would notate that or show somebody you're talking about a ray is with this right here. You draw the little ray up here, and you say that point is R, the forever and ever part is S. That is ray RS. That's what you would call that. Now I know this is getting kind of scientific, but you guys can get this, okay? That is a ray. Now, we talked about a point the whole time, right? The point is a location in space, is basically what it means. It means a place in space. I know this is kind of heady. This is kind of, it's almost, philosophical in a way. It's almost, I don't know. It's interesting to me. We're talking about a location in space. When you talk about a point, you're talking about somewhere in space, because these lines are everywhere. I know, it's really interesting. Anyways, we show on a piece of paper, right? When we have a line, we have a point, right? It's a dot, and it'll be labeled like the point D. We've been talking about those already. The points are the dots on the lines. All right? That's what we talked about yesterday. So let's move on to new territory today. Let's talk about parallel. Parallel. Now, parallel is when you talk about lines. Now, parallel goes on forever and ever, okay? Lines go on forever and ever. We're not talking about line segments. We're talking about complete lines. Lines that go forever and ever. And what you will see is lines that never intersect. What intersect means is cross. These lines will never cross. Okay? They will never cross. They never touch each other. So if you continued this line out forever and ever this way, and forever and ever this way, and you continued this line out forever and ever this way, and forever and ever this way, they could go forever and ever and ever and ever, and they would never touch each other. Okay? They would never touch. Now, what does that mean? Let me see something here. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to show you something. So let's talk about some lines that are parallel and not parallel. So I'm going to do my very best to draw some parallel lines. If I have the line AB here, and I have the line BC here, or that would be CD. Those two lines, I tried to do the best I could. If you kept on drawing those lines forever and ever, they would never touch each other. They're parallel. That's what it means, parallel. Let's try this. If I drew this line here, and this line here, and I called this line EF, and I called this line GZ, right? If I continued this line off this way, and this one off this way, do you see how they cut into each other? See how they touch? They are not parallel. If you kept on drawing them forever and ever, eventually they would cross each other. Not parallel. Okay? That's what parallel means. Parallel means if I continued to draw them forever and ever and ever, they would never ever touch. Parallel. They would stay apart. All right? Let's talk about another type of line. And this is where we're going to stop today. Perpendicular. Perpendicular are lines that intersect and form a right angle. Now, first of all, we need to know what a right angle is. I hope you're writing this stuff down. A right angle is an angle, and the right angles are all over the place, where you have like a perfect square, okay? That is a right angle. It's notated with a little square like that. That's called a right angle. I don't want to spell angel. I think I just spelled angel. I get those mixed up. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Ah! That's angle. I spell angel a lot. Let's take a look at some things with right angles. These are right angles here. Okay? It's like the corner of a square is a right angle. Right angles are everywhere. Here's a right angle, right? Right angles are everywhere. It's like the corner of a square. If you measured it, you would find that right here is 90 degrees. Now, you guys won't do that for a while. We may get into some of that. A right angle is a 90-degree angle. We see those everywhere, right? Corners of paper are right angles. Let's talk about some angles that are not right angles, and maybe that'll help you see it, okay? This is not a right angle. This does not look like the corner of a square, right? This is not a right angle, right? It's going to look like the corner of a square, straight up and straight across. That is a right angle. It measures at 90 degrees. Okay? Now, some of this you will not need for a while. But I want you to write these down because it's very important that you understand it. We are going to talk about what kind of angles these are tomorrow. They're not right angles, but they do have a name. So what you need to have for today is you need to understand what parallel means and what perpendicular means. All right? Perpendicular is two lines that make a right angle. See the right angle right here? Those lines are perpendicular. May take a second to write that word out, all right? All right, everybody. Get those written down. We'll go back over them. We'll go back over them quite a bit. So if you're not quite exactly sure, I'll do my best. If you have questions, please email me, because this will be much easier if I can see you and see what you're doing and see what you understand. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.